Tuperos y Tuperas, and today on DOOP by the River, we have a match with full capacity. We're going to talk about that Columbus Crew game, and as well, we are going to preview the Chicago Fire match that is this upcoming Sunday, or Saturday, I'm sorry. Don't go anywhere, guys, because you do not want to miss this episode of DOOP by the River. And let's get this started, guys. Done! And that is right. Welcome, everyone, to DOOP by the River, the show where we follow everything Philadelphia Union, brought to you by Philly Sports Network. What's going on, guys? Welcome if you're coming on in from YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Seriously, thank you so much for tuning on in. Before we move forward, guys, do not forget to subscribe to DOOP by the River wherever you find podcasts from Apple, Google, and Spotify. And you can also find us on PSN Radio. That is also wherever you stream podcasts. Of course, this podcast is brought to you by Philly Sports Network. Ladies and gentlemen, it's just me and my man, Tim Lovinguth. Tim, what's going on, man?
Not much. We got to watch a soccer game in a stadium that was jam-packed yesterday. Like, it was legit. It was legit.
It was great. We'll definitely talk about our experience down there. Tim, I think we can commend ourselves. I think we got some drip on tonight. So, Tim has got the beautiful, obviously, Bayou. It's like a track jacket, right, Tim?
Yes, it is their anthem jacket, I believe is what they call it.
Okay, cool.
And I remember the first time that I saw this jacket was when the Union had just gotten drawn into CCL, and Jim Curtin was getting ready to do his press conference, and he popped up on the screen for all the reporters in this jacket, and I was like, I must have it. Like, I need it. I need it right now. I look like Jim Curtin, so I need it. Like, whatever he wears right now, I need it. So that was way back a few months ago now, and it just became available, and I was like, yeah, I'm buying it. Like, it is what it is. Like, I buy a jacket like once every 5 or 6 years from the Union shop, and this is it. So,
oh my God. That is great. Tim has Big Daddy Jim energy here, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here for it.
Jim energy. Yeah.
Let's go. I love it. It is definitely a good look. I mean, honestly, you can't go wrong with any of the Bayou merchandise that the Union are selling right now. Of course, I am wearing my Hungarian soccer kits from this year's Euros. It is, of course, Daniel Gazdak's kit. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see him out there with the Hungarian national team. They had a good outing, though, Tim. A loss to Portugal, a draw to France, and a win over Germany. That's not a bad outing by them, man.
Yeah, they drew against Germany late on. It was a draw, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so they got knocked out, but they were probably the best last-place team, which, from the group of death, you'd take that, yeah.
Of course, in the group of death, absolutely. And you don't have Daniel Gazda. That's definitely a big loss too, Tim. So.
Yeah, I mean, if he was able to play and he came off the bench against Germany, I mean, he's probably getting the winner. So, yeah.
Exactly. Timo who? No, I'm just kidding. Awesome stuff. All right, so obviously Tim alluded to, we're just going to get right into it. So we want to talk about yesterday's match we all just came from. It's good. It's technically 2 episodes in 1 week. Obviously, the Union are having 3 games in 7 days. That means we have overtime as well. But before we get into kind of what went down in the match between Columbus and Philly, I wanted to talk about our experience down at the Sub. Obviously, no news, but no new news. There was a full capacity yesterday, the first full capacity match for the Philadelphia Union, and they are the 3rd Philly sports team that is able to have a full capacity. Tim, I'll let you go first on this one, man. Just kind of talk about your experience and like kind of what it meant for you to be back home, like with a little bit of normality.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely like a normal game. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. It was not like a normal weeknight game. Usually, weeknight games are not full, and this one was full because it was the first one. So that was actually very nice to see. I hope that trend continues when we get some more midweek games here later in the season, because when the stadium is packed, it gets rocking, like the club really feeds off it. And Jim Curtin mentioned it in his post-game press conference, as well as his press conference today. Like, when the crowd is going, like, it really pushes the players to get the most out of them. We'll get to talking about some of the match stuff later, but looking at some of the stats and how things really shook out in the match, it's a good thing that the crowd was there to push the team, because if they weren't, I don't think that the Union actually win this game. I think they probably lose it, and there's stats that kind of back that up. But my experience in the stadium, it was kind of surreal to be back there with all of those people. For me, I had still gone to games throughout last year, watching them win the Supporter Shield, and it felt, the crowd that was able to come in, like, it still felt electric. But when the stadium is full, it's just a whole different energy. It really is something we haven't seen since that playoff game, and it felt like we really didn't skip a beat. The stadium is loud. It's loud when everyone is there and is able to chant and talk and yell at players, yell at the referees. Totally surreal to be around, people in the stands that I haven't seen for a year and a half. I know we talked about it on the podcast. That's how Justin and I first met. He was the guy that was, standing behind me yelling out stuff, and I would kind of banter back and forth with him, and getting spit on and everything, because he's Justin, when he gets a little angry, stuff just kind of. Justin, hope he's doing good. He's in Chicago. He's going to go to the Union Fire match here this weekend. So, yeah, but no, it was just surreal to see everybody, to kind of just take a look at the atmosphere. I remember, I think it was like 10 minutes into the actual game, just taking a look around the stadium, seeing it being full, hearing the Sons of Ben chant, hearing, the other sports group chant over here by me, and just kind of going crazy, getting the fans riled up. And yeah, it was a great time.
Dude, even, what was it, 104 and 105 got a little rowdy, like in the 8th, 70th minute or so. They had a little chance going on. But I think,
real quick, sorry, part of that too.
Go ahead.
The KSU Keystone State Ultras were getting their chant back together with the normals on that side. So they do like kind of like a call and response chant, which I think is really cool. They get people going out kind of on the other side, closer towards the practice fields. So they'll start just kind of clapping and singing, and then they get the other side to clap and sing with them too. I know the Sons of Ben were doing kind of the same thing as well. But yeah, kind of being in between all that, like, it was just, it had the playoff atmosphere again. It just felt like, it felt normal, like you said earlier.
No pun with our Bayou kits, but it felt very electric too last night.
Did. Man. Yeah. They weren't even wearing them. So, yeah.
I know, right? They didn't even need to wear those kits. But to your point, with the coinciding with like the outside of the Rivers End groups, look, we watch plenty of soccer. I would love for one day, like, we could all as a whole stadium get in sync in singing, because like that's what I'm used to. Like, I watched an America de Cali match back home in Colombia, and it's everyone's in sync. Everyone from the one end of the stadium to the other end of the stadium, everyone is in sync. I don't know if that'll happen, because it's like, number one, singing is not really a thing in American sports. We do have to remember this is America too. But it's definitely hard. Like, it's hard for Sons of Ben. I'm sure it's hard for maybe easier for Keystone, because Keystone is still a little smaller. But it's hard for Sons of Ben to kind of even come up with new songs when you're having new fans and having to memorize these new songs. So it is definitely tough. But it was awesome. Tim, my favorite moments, because now, like, it's no secret, like, Jakob's got a rocket for a leg, right? Yeah. Anytime Jakobs gets the ball, the fans are like, shoot! Yeah.
It was funny.
That had me dying, man.
Justin was like, "Oh, it feels like a Flyers game. I don't know if I like this."
But Gritty's gonna be out there
for real. I mean, he's been there before with Fang. So those are some lit games when Gritty and Fang are together. Let me tell you. But just to go back real quick to your point about having like unity throughout the stadium. There's one thing that we'll always be unified in, and that is when a ref makes a bad call. Oh, that stadium gets so loud. When we'll kind of get to the match. Yeah, we'll get to that part of it, but the part of the match where Matt Real, got a red card and then didn't after VAR, like, the ref knew about it from any corner of the stadium, and it was just beautiful to hear.
It definitely was. The tifo was beautiful as well. Shouts to Ryan. I loved it. It was every little bit of everything. Obviously, we're showing support in Pride Month here, and I thought that was beautiful too. And getting a full crowd at the Rivers End with Ryan's beautiful tifos, it's what we
Yeah.
missed as well.
Yeah. Oh, it was perfect. Like, half Pride, half Juneteenth celebration. Like it was perfect. Like, they always outdo themselves with the tifos. And even something as simple as just showing unity with people, like it's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to reach out to Ryan for Latinx Heritage Month or Hispanic Heritage Month. We'll definitely have to come up with something here, but I love when he does his little tifos, but no, the atmosphere is absolutely electric. I mean, Jim mentioned it too. Like it definitely it elevated the Union's play yesterday. It was just so good seeing like friends and fans of the team.
Mm-hmm.
Shouts out to Kyle Carberry and Devin Caney, who the TikTokers that showed up to Subaru Park. They both enjoyed their experience. We had Devin on last episode.
Right.
And from what I haven't reached out to her after the match, but from what I saw, it looked like she really enjoyed her match and enjoyed the match. And it really is big seeing guys like those. Like, I know what kind of following those two have. And see those guys embrace the Union, it's truly special, and it kind of put the cherry on top of what was an absolute beautiful night in Super Park, man.
Yeah,
the experience we had, and of course, Ilsinho at the team store.
Oh, that was crazy. Yeah, I had to go get my jacket, obviously, so I was running to the store before the match, and who do I see behind me but Ilsinho with his son, and Ilsinho's going through the store.
That's awesome.
Like waiting in line just like everyone else to buy his son. He bought him one of the parlay jerseys and a foam finger, and I'm like, dude, can't you just like take those? Can you just like have them? Like, you're on the team. Like, can't they just like take it out of something, or like do you at least get a discount? And he was just kind of laughing it off. He's a fun guy. He was talking a lot about to some fans who kept coming up and asking him like, oh, how you doing? Like, when are you going to get back out there? He was saying that he just had sports hernia surgery. So, there's still a good amount of time. He's got some weeks to go here, but he's still been training, kind of off to the side doing some running. So it looks like that rehab process is going well for him there, at least, to start out. But yes, that was a very cool moment as well. And I'd be remiss if I didn't shout out Aurelian Collin, because after the match,
the
whole section that we were in, were shouting because now players are allowed to sign things. So my wife Courtney is the #1 Aurelian Collin fan who has his jersey on the new Bayou kit. So
she's the
she was
president
running down to the end of the section trying to hold it up for me. He's down across the field, and we had like the whole section like pointing over, so he came over, signed the jersey. My voice
Jared
is
has
still
a question for us.
My voice is still kind of shot, Jared, to answer your question. I don't know if you guys can hear it over this, but yeah, it's been a fun day of voice cracks for me. But yes, shouts to Aurelian Collin for signing that jersey, being a real one.
Absolutely, that was a great moment to see there. Jared, shouts to you, shouts to Adam, all the Sons of Ben Tifos. You guys put in the work as always. Unfortunately, I was conserving my voice. I have a 9-to-5 now, and I work a lot with telephones and a lot of talking, so I can't afford to lose my voice and then have 2 podcasts. So I can't really yell and chant the way I want to, but. Plus when you have Jared, when you have Adam running the things at Rivers End, I mean, we don't have to say much more else. But seriously, good job by you guys. But onto your Ilsinho point there, it's funny. Like, I wonder what jersey does the kid get? Like, does he get his dad's jersey? Is he feeling like a Casper?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He was wearing the Bayou kit, but I didn't get to see what was on the back of it, to be fair. But they didn't get a name or number on the parlay jersey that they bought. So I think they were just kind of, getting the jersey and then going over to wherever they were watching the game. I think I saw from his Instagram that he was watching it from one of the boxes or one of the suites that they give the players that aren't playing, and their families. So that was pretty cool to see as well.
I'm seeing a lot of Jamiro kits lately. I don't know if it was just yesterday, but I saw a lot of Jamiro kits. That's good. Good for good news.
There's a reason. Yeah, he's still the club's biggest signing, and maybe until this summer, maybe, right? Because we're going to talk. Union might be able to sign some more international players this summer.
No Union Hulk. We're not signing Ronaldinho. We're not signing Neymar. Okay, just
Not
kidding.
Leo Messi. It's not going to happen. You put a tweet out about Leo Messi today. It's not going to happen.
Not gonna happen. All right, so let's get to the match. Obviously a big 1-0 win over Columbus Crew. Big 3 points. You know, Jim alluded to in the presser, and I mean we all know Columbus is a really quality side. There's a reason why they won MLS Cup, and
Yeah.
in Tim's fantastic article that he wrote before the match. We haven't beaten those guys since 2019. I know it's a short time, and obviously we had COVID last year, but
Yeah.
the real test is always playing there because usually we do a solid job playing them here at home. But listen, in the type of week that we've had, Tim, like we'll take those 3 points no matter how you get them.
Yeah.
And I really felt like the Union took advantage of their opportunities. I mean, like Tim alluded to a little bit earlier, Columbus, for the most part, I felt like looked like the better team. I felt like they had more opportunities, but the Union showed their pedigree. You know, when they need to make big plays, they make those big plays. Obviously Miro, you mentioned it, man. He was all over. Olivier Bizo, to me, I feel like he had the most underrated performance. There was that one instance in Rivers that I absolutely lost it. He like tapped the ball and he kind of like the defender like misread it and he like had a step on it. It was a beautiful play. I wish we could replay this play on the stream here, but just the partnership with Ali and Olivier, I'm absolutely loving it. There was one moment where I was like screaming, like it's like watching Jalen Hurts and Miles Sanders on the speed option because it's literally like that. It's like Ali's got the ball, and then he's obviously got the option out to Olivier, and the same goes with Ali. Those guys have that chemistry, and it's just a lot of fun to watch. Obviously, the scary moment, like Tim mentioned, the Matt Real situation. I mean, it was the slide tackle. I mean, obviously he got the ball first, but it's always scary when a player goes up over. But luckily, he only got the yellow there, but no, it's a hard fought win. It really took 90 minutes to get the job done to hold Columbus off. Obviously, they didn't start Lucas Zelarayan right off the bat. They started Kevin Molino at that 10, and then Lucas came out in that second half. But now you'll definitely take those 3 points. However, you can get them over the Columbus Crew, man. What did you take away from last night's match?
Yeah, I would say my main takeaway is that this is if you think of like a Columbus Philly match, like this is the type of match you should think of. It played out kind of exactly how it should have. Columbus is always a team that likes to have possession, and they had 62% of the possession. The Union don't like to have possession, so they look to counterattack off of missed chances from Columbus or from the other team. Columbus had the ball for most of the game, and I would say when it wasn't Lucas Zelarayan on the ball, the possession was pretty much meaningless. It was a lot of passing back and forth, trying to run in behind the defense, and then realizing they couldn't, kind of stopping and pulling the ball back and trying to rework it. But then the midfield was able to swarm them and start a counterattack for Philly. That's how the Union got their goal. And like you said, that partnership of Bizo and Bedoya, it's working right now on that goal. I know Bizo was really actually able to connect with Corey Burke up top, but the runs that Bedoya made that play. So when Bizo first got the ball to start the counterattack there, Bedoya kind of showed for him. He kind of ran towards him and drew some defenders away. So there was an open lane to Corey Burke. So Bizo made the pass and then instantly made the run down the line because that's what he's going to do as that sort of wing back right now. So Burke then was able to get the ball back out wide to Bizo. And, as Bizo was sort of running to get the ball, Bedoya was also making a run into the channel, which drew Pedro Santos towards Bedoya rather than Bizo, which I think is weird that Columbus was playing Santos as a left back instead of a winger. He's more of a winger, but I guess right now he's playing left back for them. So he's kind of caught because of Bedoya's run. Bedoya's run into the channel made it so he didn't know, okay, where's the ball going to go? Is it going to Bedoya or is it going to keep running and go out wide to Bizo? It ran out to Bizo. So Bedoya really kind of made that play. Then, Bizo sends in the cross, and unfortunately Casper couldn't get his head to it. I believe it was Mensah who was kind of challenging him there. But ball pops out to the 18. Jamiro Montero chests it down and takes it first time on his left foot. Luckily it goes through the legs of Mensah, and Room wasn't able to dive to make the save. And, Union get the only goal of the match. And it was obviously the difference maker. Jamiro talked about it in post-game press conferences yesterday, that the team is really kind of looking to be more confident in shooting. And I know fans will love to hear that, because there's been plenty of times where they kind of play a few 1-2s around the 18 instead of maybe take a touch out wide to kind of get a shot off like that. Yeah. And he mentioned the Jakob Glesnes goal in Atlanta kind of reworked that mindset for them, as, if you feel like you have the space and time to take a shot, rather than looking maybe for a higher percentage chance, which is sort of what the Union are built on. I know Jim Curtin likes to do that, especially talking about getting the ball into the box. But Jamiro at that point in the 18, on top of the 18, he felt it. You could see him when he was chesting it down. He was, looking to strike right away, which we haven't really seen a lot of this year. We saw it a little bit last year, Anthony Fontana and a few other players,
right?
Getting some long range goals. But that kind of, not overthinking. It just, if you feel it, you feel like you have a shot, take it. If you put it on frame, you have a good chance of it going in, especially on a transition or a reworked ball like that was sort of. You have more of a chance of scoring than you do with that other pass that then lets the defense reset. But yes, just in terms of the match itself, I would say it is, this was a long rant to get to this, but it is a normal Union Crew match. Crew have the ball for most of it, probably look like they should score a goal, and then don't, and the Union pounced with their, counter-attacking, counter-pressing style and get the 1-0 win. And yes, like you said, you'll take those 3 points any day over the reigning MLS Cup champions.
Absolutely, man. To your point with the mentality, especially like in the final third. Look, this team has talent. Like they need to realize that they are a talented team. And go out and play with some confidence. Go out and have fun. Play the game.
Yeah.
Trust yourself. Trust your teammates as well. And I feel like that's going to go a long way going forward, no matter who's playing. When we think about it, when everyone is back healthy and back from international play. This team is talented. It's got some serious stuff that's got me so giddy right now.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring up, Tim, real quick. This partnership with our center backs, Jakob Glesnes and Jack Elliott. Man, shouts to Joe Tanzi. Today in the press conference, he brought up a great point about Elliott. Man, that dude is very, very underrated, in my opinion, in this league. And, I know he's played with – Jakob has shown his talent in this year with Mark McKenzie gone. And he's also played with Mark McKenzie as well. But, dude, what he does is so big, man. Like, he is great with the partnership there. Those guys have a great chemistry. I was watching them because, obviously, Yazi's artist. As a U.S. men's national team fan, dude, that dude, if you let him, he will – especially in this league, he will kill you. But those guys on the same page all freaking night. I saw the communication. They always kept an eye on Yazi. Yazi really didn't have any good opportunities yesterday. And I think Jack deserves a little bit more respect, man. Put some respect on his name, dude.
Yeah, he's been the perfect replacement, which is kind of weird because he's not he's not Mark McKenzie. Like,
right.
He is a solid center back. He is a very, very good starter in MLS. And to have that kind of as your, it was the third center back last year, and now getting into the starting role again. He didn't skip a beat. He played, mostly in 2019 as well. Looked really good then too. So kind of having that off year, coming right back in. I know a lot of Union fans were scared about the defense. They were scared about Jack Elliott coming back in as a starter after being pretty much off for a year. They were worried about Bizo coming in as a right back because of what Ray Gaddis gave you in defensive stability. I know we're talking about center back pairings, but Bizo's recovery runs are amazing. He didn't have too many against Columbus, but in the Atlanta match, he had like 3 or 4, which I remember seeing and kind of pointing it out as I was live tweeting from the DOOP by the River account. Like, oh, Bizo made another recovery run. Look at him, he's doing it again. Like, he has those moments of magic when he has the ball, but then he can also get back and cover that ground as well. But yes, Jack Elliott is one hell of a player, slotting in next to Jakob Glesnes. He probably is more forgotten because he now is next to Glesnes, who's, Glesnes is that tall, dominant figure who's gonna, bully people off the ball, and then sometimes he's gonna run with the ball and hit a banger. Like Jack Elliott, he's more of a better ball winner, looks to pass more out of the back. Like he hits some diagonal balls that are amazing, getting it out to the wings, starting new attacks. And yeah, he can score a goal too, but he's more of a off a set piece or a scramble in the box type of thing where he's going to get his goals. But yeah, it's amazing to have this type of center back consistency over the last, I would say, 3 years, because in years prior, the Union had always had center back issues, no matter who the pairing was, and a lot of times it was not being healthy and things along those lines. But yes, it was great to see that partnership flourish through now 10 games. The Union have played 10 games already, so it's been a good time for sure. And it looks like you're muted, Johnny, just so you know.
Thank you for that. Do you remember the days we used to say, imagine if Andre had like a good center back pairing in front of him?
Yeah. No, I remember. I remember saying that for goalkeepers before Andre. I remember saying that for Zach McNabb. I was like, dude, if Zach McNabb could just have some center backs in front of him, have maybe Mo Adu could stay healthy, maybe Amobi Okugo is a center back and not a midfielder. I remember all of that. Yeah. Maybe Aaron Wheeler is actually a striker, not a center back. It is what it is.
I just took Tim down a crazy rabbit hole there.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
It's awesome. And another great point too. A lot of people wonder like where's Stuart Finley, because obviously he came in with a lot of hype as well. But like, dude, would you actually change up the center back pairing like when they're playing so well together?
In 3 games in 7 days, and no offense to AK Gaming, but against Chicago Fire, I mean, you can. I would, if I was the coach and you're coming off of a long break. You have these guys now, they're fit, they're good to go, but they're playing a 3rd match in 7 days where you could potentially take 7 points from 9. I think some squad rotation to save someone's legs would be okay. And from what little we've seen from Stuart Finley and what the club has talked about in terms of his skill set, he probably would come in and be okay next to either Jakob or Jack, whoever Jim might want to take out there. I know Stewart is a little bit more pacey, so he was sort of the Mark replacement, even though, again, he's not the same player as Mark, but he's a little bit more similar to Mark than
wearing
Jack
his number 2, man.
Yeah, wearing number 4. So yeah, we'll get to see. I think it would be the perfect time to have that squad rotation. I know Justin brought that up on the last pod too. He thinks against Chicago is kind of that perfect opportunity to give some minutes to some other players. Obviously, you still want to win. You don't want to underestimate Chicago, and we'll get into what even Jim Curtin has said about Chicago's team this year. Being formidable, which I think he's being generous, but it is what it is. I think if they wanted to rotate the squad, get some guys in like Stuart Finley, maybe even like Quinn Sullivan, who has come in and showed really well.
Yes.
I know he came in for Ali Bedoya in this match because Bedoya had to come off sort of later on with what looked like it could be an injury, and luckily it's nothing serious. Jim Curtin mentioned in the press conference today, nothing serious for Bedoya, but maybe you want to rest him. Maybe you want him off the bench and only play a few minutes, and maybe you want to start someone like a Quinn Sullivan or some other player. Maybe even you get Cole Turner to come in at the 6 and you move Flock up, like that kind of thing. Like you have all of these options, all of these homegrown midfielders who you could potentially throw into a game like this and hopefully trust them. Now, 10 games into a season, full training, I would hope that Jim is now starting to trust these homegrowns that have been with the team now for almost a third of the season.
Absolutely. One last point before we move on to the Fire match. What the heck was Columbus wearing last night? Dude, it looked like, what it looked like? They forgot to bring jerseys. Like the top, like they forgot to bring the shirts. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, their away look this year does look like a training top for sure. I like it when teams have like a cleaner looking away shirt with different color shorts, so it's not just one monotone color, because their home jerseys are just black. It's black on black. So I was kind of fine with it being something kind of bland at the top, but the yellow shorts because then it's Crew. But yeah, their jerseys they look like the gray warm up tops. Like that's really what it is this year for them.
I think maybe reverse it, like so yellow on the top, white in the bottom might have looked better in my opinion, but it just looked off.
Yeah, their color scheme is a little bit different, and I guess that's the way that they wanted to be, kind of against MLS's "you must wear white away" stuff with choosing gray because it's gray. But yeah, I mean, not a good.
We broke. And Columbus has had so many great kits in its history too. I feel like.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they've had some historically good ones and some historically bad ones for sure. Remember those ones with the they were like white, yellow, and red with blue shorts for the flag of Columbus? I'm not lying. Like if you look up for Union fans out there who remember Connor Casey, look up Connor Casey in that type of kit for the Crew for the away. It was when he was with the Crew and they wore their away jerseys. It was a look. I think it might have been like 2016 or around that.
My God!
You just found this.
Be serious. What is this?
Yeah, so they've had some really good kits and some really bad kits in their time. They have some classics, and then they try things out and it doesn't work at all.
I hope this is what you're talking about. This is ugly. Like this just doesn't. It's like now what they had yesterday.
Yeah, that's it. That's it right. By the way, that picture, for those of you listening, we just pulled up a picture of what Connor Casey was wearing, and that was when I believe he got a red card against the Union.
That's Tranquilo, right?
Yeah, that's Tranquilo behind him. Yeah, Tranquilo Barnetta.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So that's what we do here.
Yeah.
We bring nostalgia here on the pod. That's what we'd like to do. As Paraguay scores a goal, it is 1-0 in the 32nd minute over Chile.
Oh, look at that. That's a big goal for them.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. All right. Well, on to our boys. Obviously, big 3 points. It's great. You got 4 points thus far in this crazy week that the Union have had. But now we got to go to Chi-Town. We got to go to Chicago. We got to face off against the Fire. Look, the Fire, it's been rough with those guys. I'm saying it's been rough for their club as a whole. But listen, we should not take that team lightly whatsoever. So, guys, as per usual, we like to get you guys the perspective of the opposite side. So, today, to give us the Chicago Fire perspective from our great friends over at the Aces podcast, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jason Vang. Jason, welcome to Dude by the River, my man. How you doing?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Really, really happy to be on here. When you guys asked me to be on here, I was like, oh, yeah, that'll be fun. I was like, oh, I remember what happened last time we played. So I'm a little concerned. Also, you preceded that by saying, a good week for the Union. They got 4 points in the last week. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Fire are on 4 points this season. So
yeah.
I'm so sorry, my man. I'm so sorry.
It's been rough. It's been rough.
I hear you, man. Well, Jason, listen, we had Tom on for the NYCFC preview. Tom was absolutely nothing but a class act, and we fell in love with the Aces pod. So to have someone else on there, man, it's truly awesome to get you on here, man, and talk some Fire. Even though, like you said, it's some rough times here, my man.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you guys having me on. Even when we're bad, I'll still watch. I have tickets, so I go to the games and I just, cry in the stands. It's fine.
Jason's sitting there like, oh man, I can't wait till Bear season. I'm just kidding.
I make a joke because I have a friend of mine and he's a big Fire fan. He actually worked for them for a while.
Cool.
And I always talk to him and I'm like, I put the S on like someone's first name. Like, so if you were to say like Jason V. Vang's, like in reference to something like, oh, Jason V. Vang's cup, I'd be like Jason's V. Vang cup. And he would get so mad. So when we got Justin's field, I would say, oh, we're always going to have home games because every field is Justin's field. And he'd get so mad. He's actually a Cincinnati fan. But
okay.
He worked for the Fire, so he kind of likes the Fire.
Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. So you, Jason, you're one of the co-hosts of Aces as well?
Yeah. So I co-host with Tom, and then we have two others, Vaughn and Sam.
Cool.
We got a wide range of teams we root for. So I'm obviously with the Fire, Tom with NYCFC. Sam is with DC United, so he's a big DC guy. And then Vaughn is with SKC. So
Very
Cool.
nice.
That's
Very
awesome.
nice. Yeah.
3 East teams.
Yeah.
Yes. All East Coast boys. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. Jason, so before we get into the match on Saturday night, listen, you kind of mentioned it right when you got in here. State of Fire fans, it's in a dark place. Like
Mhm.
you guys have history. Like not even in MLS, but before in like previous American leagues. You guys came in the league, started off really nicely. I mean, you had our coach Jim Curtin on those teams as well.
Yep.
And it's been like a dull, like I would say, decade for you guys. Ever since Cuauhtemoc Blanco left, I feel like you guys made that one playoff appearance, but then
2017,
like, yeah. Other than that, it's been pretty dull. And then to top it all off, you have the issues in Bridgeton. You have the rebrand that kind of went sour. This new rebrand seems to be a little more positive. But what is the state of the Fire fans these days?
Yeah, I think Chicago fans in general are used to dealing with a lot of just crap over the years. But
Sounds
this
like our
Fire
life.
team, I mean, I think the state of the Fire fans right now, at least for myself, I was pretty optimistic, especially going into this season, because on paper, there's a lot of good players on this team. Robert Barrich last season was up there with Golden Boot leaders. So theoretically, in a season that a lot of what I thought of the struggles from last season, I kind of attributed to new coach, a lot of new faces on the team, new management, COVID year. Really was a mixture of things that I thought were sort of pulling us back. But the way we started this year, it clearly wasn't like a outside influence that was hurting this. It wasn't because of COVID. This team's just bad. And I don't know if the issue is on Wiki or who, but the organization, I'm still kind of optimistic for. It's really sad because, like you said, a decade ago, the Fire were one of those big names in MLS. They were one of those teams that, was in the playoffs consistently, challenging. I mean, even when the year they came in the league, they won. So there's been a lot of good history, but this last decade, we've just been tripping over ourselves the whole time. Moved to Soldier Field. I thought there'd be a lot of hype around that, and there was. But then, obviously, there was a year without any people going to the games. So that kind of lost some steam, the excitement there. The rebrand, like you said, the first one was just not good. Nobody liked that. I don't know a single person who liked that. The current rebrand is a lot better, in my opinion. I'm happy with that one. But again, it's like you're taking 2 tries to get it right. If you're going to do that with everything, whether it's the team on the field, the coach, the management, the logo, the stadium, it's like that. Eventually, you're just way behind, and we're way behind right now.
Yeah, man. No, you're absolutely right, man. It's like at some point, the fans can only take so much, and like the trust does dwindle away. And I completely get where you guys are coming from. So, what do you think of the news? Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, I genuinely think that with a good team, a good logo, solid players on the field, solid product, the people would show up. This would be a big team in Chicago. There's a lot of Chicago soccer fans, whether that's, fans of international teams or anything. But I genuinely think they would get good numbers at these games. They'd be selling tickets. But they just take, like I said, 2 tries to get everything right. And they just seem like they're always one step behind everyone else. And that's been that way for many years. I mean, there was the blip in 2017, but I got really excited for that. And then it turned out it was just all a big mistake, apparently. But
yeah, Jason, I have a question about that.
Yeah.
That 2017 year, it seemed like they had tried to like form a new identity, kind of rise out of that mediocre state that they had after being so good early on. Like, why do you think that they didn't kind of continue with the type of players that they had? I remember like they had some really good players, Dax McCarty, was there. Who else?
Nikolic was
Nikolic was there. Did you guys
banging in
have David
goals that
Accam
year.
at that time, or did he get traded to one of the other teams? That wasn't the Union yet.
Who'd you say?
David Accam. Did you still have him?
David Accam. Oh man, you're gonna bring that up. I miss him
Yeah.
so much. I think
Yeah.
he was there in 2017. if I
Yeah, like
remember.
that team was really
I
good.
think
The
after
team-
that he went to Nashville,
did-
or did he go
he
straight?
did come to us first. He came
He
to
went to you
Philly.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just bring all that up to ask, like, why do you think the club didn't kind of build around those players that sort of identity that they were sort of trying to build? Because it seems like this team just doesn't have an identity.
They don't have an identity, and I think they didn't know how to create an identity even back then. It's like I almost feel like they got lucky into that. A lot of the old management is gone now, but many people did not like where the old management was going. In Nelson Rodriguez, a lot of people thought he was pretty bad, and a lot of supporters didn't like him. He was he was like just negative in general to the whole organization. So him leaving was a really big move. But I honestly think they just didn't know what they were doing, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we have a playoff team. And then the next year, I mean, like you said, Accam was gone, who was a pretty pivotal piece for us. I mean, Nikolic had a way worse year, a bunch more down year the next year, and then he was gone. So, and then ever since they've just been, it's like a revolving door with players. It's like, oh, a player does well, a player does bad. It just consistently is just
Jason,
in and out, in and out.
AK Gaming is our honorary Fire fan. He comes on every week, which we really appreciate him. But he's a proud Fire fan. He always lets us know his
awesome.
he always lets us know his displeasure with the club, and he always, I'm trying to find the comment. He always likes Collier. He always brings up Collier every episode.
He tries to get us to sign him away from Chicago every week. Like, we can talk to Ernst Tanner and be like, "Hey, go sign."
You can have him. You can have him. No, please take him.
We don't want him.
He's not adding anything for us.
We're all right.
That's so funny.
Please take him.
Jason, I wanted to ask you about.
Philly. I don't even care.
You guys all want to get rid of him. I want to ask the new logo. What are your thoughts? Is this the right logo for you guys? Anything you want to say about the new logo?
I mean, overall, I'm happy with it. Obviously that first logo we had was awesome, right? A lot of people, I don't know about you guys, but I know a ton of fans loved that logo. And I'm fine with what? Yeah, it wasn't the problem. No.
It wasn't the problem. No.
So I can see partly why they wanted to change it. I know just from the marketing side of soccer, when anyone wore anything Chicago Fire and it said it on the badge, people were like, "Oh, you work for the fire department." And the general American didn't understand what it was, that it was a soccer club. But yes, I'll let you continue, Jason, because I think I know where you're going with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm overall fine with rebrands in general if they're done right. But what they put out with like the triangles, that was like a crown, it didn't relate to the city at all. Like, I don't think anyone felt connected with that.
Right.
And the colors were like the yellow and the like mustard. And then there've been the men in red forever, and they just were going to forget about that. It's like you were talking about the identity.
Yeah.
We're the men in red. We've always been the men in red. If we're going to take that away, what is left? Like, at least have the decency to put out a red jersey. So, and what I'm pretty sure I've heard that the red jerseys will come back with this new logo.
Yep.
Even though it's not like a predominant logo or color in the logo, but yeah, I'm a big fan of the new logo. I'm happy with it.
Good.
Anything would have been an upgrade, but I don't know if I'm happy with it because of how bad we had it, or if I'm genuinely happy with it. I think it's a bit of both. But yeah, it's way better than what we had, and it's definitely something they could market. And the social media team for the Fire is actually one of the better bright spots of the Fire. Their Twitter is great. The videos they put out and the graphics are always really well done. So
yeah, I like promo that you guys do. But Jason, I mean, mustard is part of Chicago, right? Aren't you guys big on hot dogs out there?
Yeah. Chicago's a big hot dog. Yep, they like mustard on their hot dogs. Look at Matt. When I was younger, I hated mustard, So I'd always get ketchup, and my brother would be like, Jason, you can't get ketchup in Chicago. Like, they're going to yell at you. And I was like, but I don't like mustard.
You're forced into the mustard.
Yes, I don't want to eat it.
I want to try Chicago dog and the deep dish pizza. Those are the two things I need to try, man. I definitely need to get me.
Well, if you're
some
ever
of
in
that
Chicago,
stuff.
let me know. We can go get some pizza for sure.
100%. As my girlfriend's looking at me because she wants to go back to Chicago.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's get to the action on the pitch. So so obviously you guys played yesterday, correct? Let me try to get my
we played Cincinnati.
Cincinnati, a 1-0 loss for you guys.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about it.
For Cincinnati there.
Man.
But
the amount of shit I've given Cincinnati over the years.
And you guys
just it's not okay.
And to lose it on a free kick, I just I understand.
Well, MLS in general, in my opinion, is horrible at defending set pieces.
Yes.
So this is just and the Fire are abysmal at it. Like, you guys watch, if you guys get a free kick tomorrow, just be all the confident in the world, because I will be sitting here like, oh, I guess they're gonna score. Like,
yeah.
So, but what is wrong with Chicago on the? Is it not the right players for the manager? Is it the manager? Like, what is it exactly? Because I agree. Like, I do see some talent on the pitch, but they just don't finish. Even when we were there earlier this year, like, I felt like they had some good opportunities, but they couldn't match our intensity for 90 minutes.
Yeah, I actually was at that game, and I didn't feel like the Fire played overly bad in that game. And that was early in the season, right? So I think that was like the fourth game. And I was still a little optimistic, especially because that New England game in the first week, we scored 2 goals in like the first 20 minutes. And I was like, oh, wow, maybe we have a good team. And it ended up being a draw, but I'll take a draw against New England as the Fire. But yeah, I mean, I would probably put it at this point on Raphael Wicki, the manager, because to me, it is a bit on the players as well. Like, everyone's at fault here because they have a lot of talent on their own, right? Frankowski's very good. Pineda, I really like what he's, coming into. Obviously, Robert Baric, last season, we saw he can score. Where are those goals? We're gonna keep the spoon too. It's gonna be ours forever. We're just gonna get the wooden spoon for. Honestly, it's just the Chicago Fire wooden spoon. Rename the trophy. Gaston Jimenez is good, but a lot of these guys have talent, but for some reason, it's just not coming together on the field. And I thought, last year it was because of COVID, there was less ability to practice, a little, like, things were a bit weird. A lot of these guys aren't from, the US, so it's probably tough for them being away from family and stuff. But I mean, this year there isn't any more excuses. This year I think, it's on the manager. It's a little bit on the players for I don't know. I'm not going to say they're not working hard because I have no idea, but something is not clicking, and just the sheer inability to score is just bad, right? We have 4 goals this season. The next closest is like 6, I think.
Yeah.
In Austin.
They're the worst team for their scoring. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's pretty far and away the worst. We're not even really close, and we've allowed 14 goals. So, I mean, a -10 goal differential is definitely, I'm not going to look, but I think they're definitely either the lowest in the league or tied or second lowest or something.
They're the worst team.
Yeah. So, I mean, and goal differential, in my opinion, is one of the great ways to look at a early season and see, like, they're +6 in goal differential, but they're, middle of the pack. Maybe they'll end up a little bit higher. But -10 goal differential through 8 games is just really bad. And 4 goals scored, 2 of which came within the first 20 minutes of game 1. Take those 20 minutes away, we've scored 2 goals in, and I don't know that math, but it's like 800 minutes, probably somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's everyone, right? The defense is bad. We can't score. The midfield's not stringing it together. It's everyone. It's everyone at this point. Unfortunately.
Oh man.
I remember hearing real quick. I remember hearing before the season started that the problem with the Fire is still probably going to be their defense. It just looked like they've had any kind of consistency in stopping teams from doing what they want to do. But then on top of that, like you said, you've mentioned the goal scoring. That everyone thought that that Beric would be that top line goal scorer again. It just like you were saying, it just looks like inconsistency from the midfield in terms of giving him service, because it looks like he needs the service to score, and without that, it's been
he's had some good chances too where he's just straight missed the goal or just not put it on target from pretty close. And I'm just at that point, maybe it's a confidence thing for him. And he sees a couple go in, maybe he gets, that confidence back up. But I mean, we have a tough schedule going in the next couple games. I think it's you guys and then Atlanta again, and then maybe Nashville. But it's not really going to get a lot easier unless we just get better. And what's weird, so I thought Kappelhoff coming back would be scored a goal since April. Okay, yeah, that's bad.
He always brings it, man. He always brings it.
Oh, man.
I thought with Kappelhoff coming back, we would have a lot more cohesiveness in the defense, especially because I heard, some Kappelhoff may be defensive mid. We'll have Pineda up in a center back position, potentially. Some of our better players are defensive players. So I just kind of thought, like, for Francisco Calvo, who is a decent player, but always for some reason has like a 5-minute lapse where he just pretends like he's playing a different sport and forgets what game we're playing. So there's always a goal scored in those. Sekulic, I've actually liked what I've seen from him. But the defense, you're right, it's not cohesive. And I've seen them, they've started Wyatt Omsberg a couple times, who's new to me. I didn't know who he was. But you can tell they're kind of testing out different options, and it's just nothing seems to be working. And the longer that goes on, which it probably will, I mean, Philly's a scary team, right? So I just heard you guys talking about them for a half hour, and they're not a team that they're third right now. I don't have a lot of confidence. And you guys are saying Jim Curtin said, we're formidable or something.
Yeah.
I think he's just blowing smoke. There's no way he truly believes that we can beat them. At least I don't believe it.
And any given match, man, and anything can definitely happen, man.
I mean, beating Philly would be a big springboard for us.
It would.
Definitely would need something like that.
There you go. There's your new coach. AK Gaming's got you covered. Conte to Chicago Fire confirmed.
I mean, I would take it.
They'll spend money. They'll spend money for Champions League, CONCACAF Champions League.
Yeah, we almost won the World Cup. Remember?
Yeah, it was Schweinsteiger.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't think the owner is really that afraid of spending money either. So I could see him. This is only his second or third year in charge, and he's definitely not someone who's gonna not spend the money. It seems to me, at least so far. So over the time, I'm optimistic, but this year is kind of like a throwaway year, in my opinion. At least from what we've seen so far, I don't think it'd take a miracle for us to pull out of this. I mean, worst team in the league, 4 goals scored. That's not much more.
Jason, let me ask you. So for Saturday night's match between us, what could potential lineup look like for Chicago? Like, what kind of formation and lineup could they run in?
Yeah, so I think they'll start. I mean, Bobby Shuttleworth is in goal most likely because Kenneth Kronholm is out, and we also are missing Frankowski and Jimenez because they're on international duty. Which, I mean, good for them. We could use you.
Absolutely.
But I expect, Calvo and Pineda to probably start as center backs. And then I do think Kappelhoff will start, and he usually is kind of in that either center back or defensive mid role, which I'm happy with. He's actually our longest tenured player currently, which is kind of crazy because he hasn't been there that long. But they're going to start, the midfield with Eliseda and Medran. And then up top, you're going to have Beric 100% because you got to keep rolling with the guy. Eventually, the goals will come, I think. Knock on wood. And then we'll probably have Herbers with him up there.
So Fabian Herbers. I love Fabian Herbers.
Fabian Herbers is awesome. Honestly, a big bright spot. You can just cheer for him because he's a good guy.
He was a great player for the Union in his first few seasons when he was in MLS. Great guy.
Yeah, so I mean, maybe it's like a 4-2-3-1 or something with Robert Barich up top, and a little bit more defensive probably. But I don't have much hope for us, especially once the set pieces start coming, because there's going to be a breakdown at some point on our defensive end, because there always is in every single game we've played. And the sooner they can start, patching those holes up, the better we'll be, and we won't be letting in easy goals. But that's the biggest issue. It starts with, I think, our defense. And if we can start really holding teams and giving our offense a chance to develop, like we said before, I mean, there's good, talented players on this team that can score. So those will come. It's just the defense needs to get in control. Everyone's out eventually, probably, AK Gaming.
Oh boy. So Tim, for our side, obviously a lot of soccer being played for us. What changes could you possibly see in this lineup for Saturday night's match?
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to say. I mean, Jim Curtin, when he has his guys, he wants to play them, and 3 points right now for the Union are valuable when you look at ahead of them in the standings. Orlando's winning games 5-0. They have Daryl DK coming back, scoring 2 goals in his first match. You have New England getting a 3-2 win over Red Bull. They kind of almost blew that game, but they're still winning. They're still 5 points ahead of the Union. The Union want that top spot. Like, they were Sport Shield winning, last year, that they want it. So I would assume Jim Curtin is going to roll out a lineup that, really pushes for a result, even against a team that's in last place right now, unfortunately for Chicago. I think you could see some squad rotation based on the amount of minutes played in the last 7 days for the Union, because it's their third game in 7 days. But like we sort of talked about, I think it would be guys, maybe Stuart Finley, if Jim wants to switch up a center back pairing that's been really good. Maybe you see a few other guys in the midfield, like I talked about, maybe a few other homegrown midfilders. Maybe Jack McGlynn gets, another start with El Brujo still being out with Venezuela in the Copa America.
His first start against Chicago, right?
Yes, his first start was against Chicago in that last game.
Good time to get your first start.
Yeah,
So let's start Paxton, Tim.
Yeah, I mean, I would totally be down to see Paxton Aronson start a game. We all know what he could bring. I mean, he's been touted as being better than Brendan Aronson, and Brendan Aronson is now, starting with the UN's or not starting, but playing with the UN's men's national team. So that ceiling is pretty high, and we're kind of just waiting for that opportunity. So, maybe we could see that. Maybe we'll see Paxton start at the 10, and you drop Jamiro Montero back into the diamond as a shuttler instead of playing the 10. In terms of strikers, it seems like it's Kasper Shabilko and Corey Burke, unless one of them picked up an injury. It just seems like those are the two preferred strikers that Jim Curtin likes right now. Sergio Santos, with his speed, is always a good option to be direct, to have a direct striker. It just sort of depends on when you want to use that. If you want to use it at the beginning of the match or off the bench once players are tired. And if the Union, for some reason, can't score a goal, in the first, I would say 60 minutes, and you have Sergio Santos coming off the bench, possibly even Daniel Gazdag, our new Hungarian number 10. He trained fully today, which Jim Curtin was a little bit surprised about. So we'll see. But yeah, there could be some squad rotation, but I would assume it's whatever Jim and the club see as the best 11, even against a team where they probably could rotate the squad more. It's actually interesting. Philly has actually rotated their squad more this year than they did in 2020, which, I mean, I know it's only been 10 games for Philly, but that is encouraging to see. While it's still not that many changes, they have been willing to change up their squad a little bit more than they did last year when they won Supporter Shield. So save some legs maybe if you feel like they need them, if they assess it and say, okay, Ali Bedoya, we really need you later on in the season. We're going to start one of our homegrowns over you. Obviously you're still our captain. We know you want to push for minutes. You'll be on the bench. Maybe you get a few, like something like that. But yeah, I don't see too many changes for the Union in this match.
Right. I mean, we
start
didn't mention it earlier. We didn't mention it earlier, but Corey Burke got beat up in the Columbus match last night. So I mean, personally, I would like to see Sergio out there. I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, both those guys get the job done. So
Yeah.
I'd be okay with either or. But yeah, man, put at least one of those home runs, whether it be Paxton, Jack, or Quinn, put one of those kids out there.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, the nitty gritty time.
Oh,
Gi-
God.
give me a legit prediction here, a realistic prediction here between both of them. Bayern Union Saturday Night Football, Soldier
Yeah.
Field.
Soldier Field's gonna be popping. Yes. So what? Last time it was 2-0.
Yeah.
But they were both second half goals. So we handled ourselves for 45 minutes or 50 or whatever. I really want to give the Fire a goal, but I just don't know if I can do it. It's just 4 goals on the season. I think I'll probably say 3-1. Just give us one, because I think the ball could maybe fall down in the goal on accident, which would be nice. But
Yeah.
but you guys, I don't think will have any trouble putting the ball in the back of the net. And if they score after the 60th minute, I'm going to consider it as a win.
Okay.
We hold you guys for 60 minutes. Yeah, that's great. I'll be happy with that. But that means that we definitely had a defensive lapse just in the 60th minute.
Okay. All right. What about you, Tim? What do you see happening on Saturday night?
I mean, I am going to have an article out on Philly Sports Network tomorrow that is titled "The 5 Ways That the Union Can Win Against the Fire," because there's 5 different ways that they could beat this team.
Probably more than 5.
But like when you boil it down to it, there's 5 ways. So I'll leave that as a little bit of a tease there, so you guys can read that tomorrow. But I see the game kind of it's going to be interesting to start. Chicago will have the bulk of the possession because the Union don't want possession. So if Chicago can put some pieces together in their attack and get some chances onto Barich's head, or if they can give him some good service, Chicago can have chances. I will say the Union's defensive effort has been amazing this season. They have 6 clean sheets out of their 10 games. So
must be nice.
It's going to be hard for Chicago, even with the possession, and it was hard for Columbus with the possession last night. So, you will see Chicago with the majority of the ball, but yeah, I see the Union being able to hit Chicago on counterattacks, as AK Gaming says, 1-0 Fire with a Collier goal.
Oh my God!
If that happens.
Bet on that.
If that happens, I'm going to buy a new Chicago Fire jersey with the new logo.
Man.
I'm saying it right here. I'm saying it right here, right now.
I have Collier sitting on the bench, to be honest.
Yeah. That would have to be a late winner for them right there.
Imagine.
Yeah, that would be crazy. But no, I really do see the Union being able to hit Chicago on the transition moments, on counterattacks. They did it. Last time these two teams met at Soldier Field earlier this year, it was 2 goals in the second half, and they were off either restart, or both were off restarts. So that's another way they could do it. But I think in the transition moments, the Union have showed they're a lot better than many teams in this league. And when you go up against a team that is in last place in the league, you kind of have to go into their building and get a win if you want to be legit. So
these are the wins that's like you need to walk away with 3 points if you want to win the title.
I see the Union keeping a clean sheet and scoring 3 goals. I won't say who the goal scorers are, but I do see them scoring 3 in this match. And the Fire will have their moments, but I still think that the Union's defense is gonna be able to stop.
Oh, we'll get our chance, but I don't think we're getting it past Andre.
Yeah, yes. Then you know what? That's crazy. I talked all about the Union's play and their lineup, and once again, I don't even mention Andre Blake because he's the constant. He's been the constant for the whole time he's been with this club. And if the Fire do have those chances, they get past the great defensive line that we have right now, then Andre's most likely getting a hand to the ball. So it's
Andre
gonna be rough in Chicago. Yeah.
All right, Jason, before we let you go, I have one more question for you. So here we're big 5 sport people. We like to do the cross references. You guys do play at Soldier Field. It's been the home for the Chicago Bears since 2002, I believe. What is the game day like? So when you are there, like, does it feel like you are at a Bears game, or is there actually Fire's love there?
So I've actually only been to like one Bears game in my life.
Okay.
Actually, technically two if you count like one preseason game.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Bears are pretty massive, right? Like the
Right,
NFL
right.
in Chicago, it's just big.
We know
But
here in Philly.
yeah. So I mean, there's like, gonna be a crazy amount of fans there and people going crazy. I haven't really gotten to experience much of like true Soldier Field with the Fire because we haven't had the full capacity. And
True,
we
true.
moved there. The first game was supposed to be, the home opener in Soldier Field, and like 3 weeks before everything shut down. So we went through that whole year without really even getting to experience it. And then a couple games I've been to this year, they're fun, and it's nice to be in Soldier Field, and it's easy to get to, much easier. But I really don't know what it's going to be like when, they say 100% capacity, and I'm looking at it like, what do we mean by 100%? Like, there's no way we're filling Soldier Field. But what does 100% capacity look like? And supposedly we're going to see it. I mean, I think actually yesterday was the first game of 100% capacity. But
yeah, I saw the attendance number for that game though. They had like 5,000 fans.
yeah, that's not surprising. Yeah, it's 100%. Yeah, we filled it.
We filled
5,000
section.
real people and a shitload of cardboard people.
Yeah.
So, but when you were there, you said you were there early in the season. Like, do they
Yeah.
have like Fire banners hanging around everywhere?
Yeah.
Pictures of patterns and stuff like that?
There's banners, and then
Okay.
I want to say the first game against New England, it either said like "Welcome Home" or something in the seats.
Okay. Cool.
Which was
cool.
pretty cool. But yeah, they definitely make it seem like you're at the Fire Stadium. And the Bears
Right.
actually are talking, I mean, at least threatening to move out of Soldier Field. So we'll see what happens.
Oh.
Yeah, to the suburbs. Will be interesting. Yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be awesome.
No, they're not going to go to Purdue. It's like a northwest suburb, Arlington Heights. There's a horse racing track, and they put in a bid for the whole area. I think it's more of like a power move to the city, like, hey, get your shit together. We'll see if it. Yeah,
they've been there forever. They've been there since they started, or no?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm not a huge Bears fan.
No, I know.
I think
to be a big NFL snob.
NFL is like one of my least followed
blame
sports. You. Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
I don't. Yes.
I'd probably say the NBA is my second favorite, but yeah,
it's definitely grown, man. It's becoming very international, like soccer. Back to the point about this Soldier Field. So I asked because the one thing I don't like about the MLS is when we do have to share with NFL stadium. So like obviously Nashville still sharing Nissan Stadium with the Titans. And dude, like even like last year in the playoffs, Nashville's playing Miami. Dude, I should not see the 30-yard line. Soccer, the MLS playoffs, dude. That pisses me off beyond all ends. So a lot of Union fans would like to see the Union down in downtown or in South Philly or in the city. And a lot of them want to see them play at the Link. Personally, I don't want to play at the Link. I love the Link for what it is. And if you go to Subaru Park, it is an experience like unlike anything else. Do you have to travel outside the city a little bit? Yeah, but it's so worth it. You have to deal with some of the BS you have to deal with down in South Philly. So I always want to make sure, like, because look, obviously Atlanta made it work. They built the stadium knowing that it was going to be used for soccer and for football as well. And it's worked. And I mean, obviously, it's more of Atlanta United's home.
Times, so
yeah, but it's obviously more Atlanta United's home than the Falcons' home.
Yeah,
like when that thing is filled, it's rocking. It's awesome. But I mean, are they going to fill Soldier Field ever? I mean, they were giving out free tickets at one point, so I don't know. But yeah, at least for me, like, I would prefer a soccer-specific stadium. I think it's just there's a different charm to it. There's a different level of just the actual game. Like, I don't need the huge Soldier Field with, the tarps over the seats to make it look like they're not seats or something. I'd rather be a smaller stadium that you're consistently selling out over, a massive stadium that has a bunch of empty seats. I think also just like the sound level in a smaller stadium was better from the fans' perspective. But I can't really complain about them moving to Soldier Field. I'm happy with it because it's so accessible to everyone in the city. And where the Fire at right now, people aren't going to drive an hour away to go see this team. No one's going to go. They would be dead.
Absolutely, I agree with you. All right, so guys, if you see Jason's name right now, you can see his that's a Twitter handle you have, right? Yeah. So guys, make sure you guys go follow Jason Vivang. Obviously, he's got some great soccer knowledge. Right now in the comments, I'm putting the Twitter account for the Aces podcast, where Jason is one of the co-hosts there, so you guys can check that out. Seriously, Jason, thank you so much for coming on in again. You guys over at the Aces. Fantastic people, and we truly appreciate it, my man.
Yeah, and we got a website as well where we put out some blogs. So that's MLSaces.com, and it's fun. I mean, we just trying to spread MLS like you guys are. So it's just fun times having coming on this and talking to other people who like MLS, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. Here, actually, I'm showing you guys the website right now. Look at that.
Oh, that's fancy.
It's called You Wankers Aces Soccer. I love it. Look at this. We got
it's great.
Friday Night Lights. How to love a disappointing friend. Is that for you? No, let's look Houston right there.
It's a Houston article. Yeah. So I mean, right now I think that we're, as a collective, we're trying to put out like a blog a day or something.
There you go.
Nice, dude.
So it's working pretty well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely go check those guys out. Ladies and gentlemen, that is another episode of DOOP by the River. Seriously, thank you so much for tuning on in. Do not forget to subscribe to DOOP by the River. You can find us wherever you stream podcasts, from Apple, Google, and Spotify, of course. It will be on PSN Radio as well for all your listening needs. Of course, check out Philly Sports Network, not just for your Union needs, but for all your Philly sports needs as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Jason Vivang from the MLS Aces podcast. That is Tim Lovingood. Of course, I go by the name of Ed Parcero Philly, and we are telling you guys to DOOP on. See you guys next week.